What about now?
You're good. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We are heading to a new track this weekend in the NASCAR Championship Series. That's Knoxville Raceway, obviously.
Yep.
A new dirt track. How do you feel going into the weekend? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I feel really good. I mean, it's so tough to say, especially not going there. Actually, I'm super happy the SRX cars ran there a couple weeks ago. That was really good information to see how they raced. I mean, and I don't think we'll be too much different than the SRX cars. You know, for us that in the truck series, you know, we don't have dirt specific race cars, so we're really heavy, and we don't have the power to get around a flat track such as Knoxville compared to Eldora or Bristol, where there's enough banking and still enough momentum for you to be able to maintain and gain for you to run the top there, and so on and so forth. And even at Bristol Dirt, we all pretty much, you know, fed on the bottom. So I think it'll pretty much be the same at Knoxville. So your back bumper or your front bumper will be your best friend.
Well, obviously, an exciting weekend in store. Here, we will go straight into questions now. We'll start off with Bob Hawkers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Tyler, 33 points behind the cutoff. Do you feel that there's a way for you to make it on points, or do you look at and feel like you're in a must-win over the next few weeks?
I mean, I think we're still close enough to strike. I think you can gain 48 points in a single race. So, I mean, that's the maximum, right? That's if you win every stage and win the race. So, I mean, it's possible. I mean, we obviously started the first 5 or 6 races off wrecking almost every single race, getting caught up in other people's accidents. And it just put us so far behind. And we get on a really good stretch where we'd have 2 or 3 really good races, then we'd have a setback, and another 2 or 3 really good races, and another setback. So I think that, you know, going to these final 2 races, we had a really good run at Pocono. I think we're hitting our 2 to 3 really good runs. That kind of seems to be the mantra here as of late. So I feel good. I mean, I don't think you have to go into these weekends thinking you only have to win, because if you go in those races with that mindset, I mean, you can try to go for a win and totally rule out stages, but then you kind of screw yourself when taking out those stage points. So you have to be able to play both sides of the coin. And I think going to Knoxville Dirt and even to Watkins Glen, I mean, both are 2 wild this year. We don't know anything about Knoxville. We have no data, no notes about Knoxville. And even Watkins Glen, I mean, I ran there in 2019 in the K&N car, and working with, you know, Josh Wise and Chevrolet and GMS in the simulator, it feels like it's, you know, getting back on the bicycle. There wasn't really a whole lot that I felt different or that I needed to get comfortable with again. So, and obviously somehow, some way, I've become good at road courses, and we've had a lot of success at them. So these next 2 tracks, I think, are really good opportunities for us to make the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will come from Kyle Dalton. Go ahead, Kyle.
Hey, Tyler. So you just kind of touched on it about the rough start to the season. So, and you know, you had the good starts and then a couple of hiccups. So kind of give me an assessment of the season, like what you've experienced and how things have gone for you. Looks like we had an issue.
Can you hear us, Tyler?
Hello?
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Oh,
That's
no.
okay.
Oh,
Kyle,
what's
do you
happening?
wanna-
Something is happening. Okay. I think we're good.
Okay,
I
Kyle,
can
do you
barely
want to?
hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So I just wanted you to kind of give me, you talked about the rough start to the season, and then you've had some hiccups along the way. Just kind of give me an assessment of your season so far.
Oh, I mean, honestly, with the types of runs that we've had and have been continuing to have with a few hiccups along the way, I mean, I think that we're halfway through the season. I think I've had more top 5 finishes than I did all year last year. So we've definitely, me and my crew chief this year, Charles Denick, we've, definitely hit on something. And just overall, really just, I mean, it hasn't been a great year, and it hasn't necessarily been a good year. I think it's been a pretty good year, but it's been a very trying year. There's been a lot of frustrating weeks where you just feel like you can't get out of your own way. But I mean, it hasn't really stopped us any, especially me. I mean, I have ways to kind of distract myself, especially after a bad week. And I got the ranch that I spent a lot of time on, and just being able to kind of disconnect and refocus, and basically going every single weekend with a white slate, a white or blank whiteboard, I should say, and having not having any expectations, just trying to go out there, get as many points as possible, go out and get wins, and still have that ability, still have that drive to want to go out there and do it every week. I mean, I guess you could say the past 2 years have been rough, and I still really haven't, lost my drive, still haven't lost my motivation. And so it has been very tough, but I mean, you know what? We've hit on something here as of late, on speed. We had plenty of speed at Charlotte and Texas. Charlotte, we got spun out at the end of the second stage. And then Texas, I was going to run 5th or 6th, and I accidentally slid through the pit box on the last green flag stop. So like just stuff like that, like if those things would have happened, if I would have cleaned up my pit stop at Texas, we would have had a lot stronger runs. So, I mean, we're really, really close. I don't think we're far off. I'm a golfer, so I'm going to use a golfing term. We're putting from within 15 feet. I mean, we have the ability to make birdie putts and go out and shoot a 69 on a par 71, right? So I think we're close enough. But there's a few things we got to tweak, and we'll be able to sink those putts and go out, win stages, get a lot of points, and win races.
So real quick, so you had the time off this last week, and then now you're going to have, after this coming week, you're going to have a month break. So how does that affect your schedule, like the rhythm of being one race after another?
Oh, I mean, honestly, you know what? The break during the middle of July and August, our month-long break, it really doesn't bother me too much. Actually, you know what? I prefer it because that tends to be our hottest months and the most rain in the rainiest months. And actually, thankfully, we've had a pretty dry season. It seemed like almost every week last year it was raining. So, I mean, for me, that really doesn't affect the rhythm. You just got to find a way to stay active, stay somewhere around and near a race car. I'm not a huge believer. I'm going to back up. I'm a huge believer in staying in some sort of race car, whether it's a go-kart, midget, micro midget, anything, whatever it can be. Working out, training with Josh Wise Driver's Edge program, stay in the simulator, like stuff like that, where you actually have more time to prepare for 3 weeks. Actually helps because it gives you time to assess what's going on, what you're trying to accomplish going forward, and all the other things that you need to work on and clean up, like going to pit practice, going to simulator, working on restarts, working on tracks that aren't necessarily your strengths, or trying to clean up, the things that you could be doing wrong with the brake pedal or the throttles, like cleaning up those things. When you have those 3 week periods where you can experiment and try some things out and really just kind of work on your craft, I mean, you stay busy. You stay very, very busy during those weeks. And actually, I tell people all the time, I'm busier during off weeks than I am on weeks, because it's just, you have so much more time to be able to do all those things. You have more time at the race shop, you have more time at Driver's Edge. You have just overall more time to spend with those guys, because we're not trying to get to a race that weekend, and you're not trying to just, go all out just to get everything done by the time you go to the race. When you have those week-long breaks, it can actually take the time to slow it down, spend more time, and work harder on your craft.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question will come from Zach. Go ahead, Zach.
You were an early exit at Bristol Dirt, and therefore, I guess, didn't get all that much race experience there. Does that leave you at a deficit for Knoxville, or are the tracks so different, other than both being dirt, that there's no real carryover from one to the other?
To be honest, I don't really think there is much of a carryover. I think, I had spent preparing for Bristol Dirt. I'd spent quite a bit of time in a micro midget, a Millbridge Speedway. I did a lot of testing, spent some time in a dirt modified. So I had plenty of preparation for Bristol Dirt. And I mean, we had probably 60, 80 laps. That's probably about 50, 60 laps in practice. And then whatever the 15 laps that I did make in the race. So I don't think I'm at any sort of deficit at all, considering how we had top 10 speed in practice at Bristol Dirt. And so, going to this weekend, I think the track will just be so much different that I don't think that'll have an effect at all. We're all pretty much going to go into this weekend relearning, because especially after watching the SRX race, seeing how they race, pretty much how the top was non-existent. The middle was there for a little while, but I mean, I think that what you're going to see is, because the trucks, they obviously have windshields and you can't see anything in those trucks. So I don't think the moisture, we'll try to keep the moisture out of the racetrack. I think it's going to slick right off and it's going to rubber in. And then we'll be basically driving on a paved track, driving them like paved trucks, like they actually are. And I mean, once you see it rubber in, we'll all be on the bottom. They're going to probably pack it in pretty good so it doesn't rut up like Bristol, and just kind of keep those like golf ball indentions, kind of like what you always saw at Eldora. They did a really good job prepping the track at Eldora, especially in 19. You didn't see any of those rutting up and track peeling up. So I think going to Knoxville, there's just too many unknowns. Other than what we think will happen, there's just too many unknowns, and I don't think it's anything to stress about.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question will come from Claire B. Lane. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. Tyler, you came on my show not long ago, maybe it was a month or so ago, maybe a little bit more, and you talked about your confidence. We had a really great conversation about driver confidence, and you gained a lot of fans. People really identified with that, and they got to know you a little better. How's that coming? Oh,
it's really good. I mean, I think the last time me and you talked, we talked about like why need confidence? People chase confidence their entire life, and they get in a groove where they have confidence and they fall out of it, then they fall back in it. So it's like, why need it? Why not just take confidence out of your vocabulary, take it out of the dictionary, which has been really good for me. I've felt that, as a driver, and this being my job, if you will, even though it's not, because this is just no ordinary job. That's why I like to call it my craft. I think the better and better you get at your craft, the more knowledge you have of it, the less confidence you need, because you don't really need to have confidence, because you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, well, I got this handled. As a person that has confidence, and you go, well, can you do that? And they're like, yeah, I got this covered. Well, a person that doesn't have any confidence, but they know exactly how to do it and which way to go about it, you say, hey, can you go do that? Yeah, I have this handled. So it goes hand in hand. And I think that as you go along, I think, and I remember, I wish I remembered who talked about this. I saw it on YouTube. I can't remember his name. I wish I could give him credit. But he talked that people who are new at something have a ton of confidence because they have no knowledge of it. And then they realize that, wow, this is really, really hard. And they start to lose confidence. And then they get to another stage where they've lost all confidence. They realize that the task is huge and they got to climb this giant mountain. And then they eventually just end up giving up before they can just go on a little bit further till they get to the next stage where it's like, okay, it's not that bad. We're going to figure this out. And then eventually you go back up where you have that confidence, you have that knowledge and ability to go out and accomplish it. And I think that's I think almost everybody in any profession or any career, whether it's sports or marketing or finance, I think everybody kind of goes through that, or even entrepreneurially in that aspect. I think almost everyone goes through that. And I think that if you can just get over that, man, this is really tough. I don't know if I can do this, to the, okay, this is really hard, but I know I can do it. I think that's super important. And I think I figured that out at the beginning of the year, and it was like, man, this is hard. But I mean, there's been a lot of guys behind you who had a ton of talent, had the ability to go be a cup star, didn't get there still. So at the end of the day, for me, as long as I know that I put 100% in, win, lose, or draw, at the end of the day, I'm not laying in bed going, you know what, man, I wish I would have put 10% more in. And because I couldn't live with myself if I laid in bed and went, man, if I would have only put 10% more in, I would have succeeded. So for me, at the end of the day, no matter what, if you just give it all, your all, 110%, win or lose or draw, you have to be okay with what you got and the cards that you have, and do the best with it.
All right. Any additional questions for Tyler? Go ahead, Claire.
Yeah, I wanted to do a follow-up. So real quick, my microphone was off. So real quick, Tyler, thank you for that answer. How's your confidence for Knoxville then?
Oh, well, it's high. I think for Knoxville, I think the important thing to realize is that everyone here is in the same boat. Granted, there's some guys that might have more dirt experience than others, but I've been, I've kind of been voicing this for the past year or two, especially in the Cup Series or even down in the trucks, is now that there's so many road courses on the schedule, I think the era of the quote unquote road course ringer, it's gone. There's no such thing as a road course ringer anymore, because there's so many road courses on the schedule. We all have to be good at road courses. It's a part of the series now, especially in the trucks. Like, sure, we might have gone to one road course a year, and there's always one or two road course ringers, but I think you've seen it predominantly this year, especially going to two road courses, and the quite a few road course ringers, quote unquote, road course ringers that we've had come into the series, do all right, but the typical NASCAR guys are still going out and they're dominating. Like, no one thought of Chase Elliott as a road course ringer, and they call him the road course king now. And there's something to it. And it's all about the preparation. It's all about the focus and energy that you put into those certain things. That could be your strong suit. Well, we've been racing ovals our entire lives, and we have minimal road course experience. So, there's obviously something that he did grow, whether it was growing up racing supers or late models. He was probably always in some sort of road course car, whatever it was. So I think, looking at that going forward, having that sort of experience, that ability to go out on road courses, especially since the road courses now just seem to be dominated by certain people, to have that expertise in those certain situations, I think will be even more prevalent now with the dirt tracks, since they kind of don't seem to be going away. Kind of thought they were going to go away last year with Eldora not being on the schedule, but then bouncing back with, especially in the trucks, to dirt tracks. I think it's going to be the same exact way here in the next year or two with the dirt tracks. Like, eventually, we're all just going to have to be good at dirt tracks. Your dirt ringers that'll come to the series, especially at the Bristol dirt, there are a handful of them. It's going to be non-existent here soon, I believe. Same thing with the road courses. I think that if we continue to add races or keep only the two races that are on the schedule for the dirt tracks, I think just no matter what, we're all going to have to get good at it at some point in order to want to go out and compete, especially if you're one of the series regulars. And if you have a dirt ringer that comes in and, blows the field out of the water, well, now you're out of win, you're out of stage points, vice versa. So I think that going to the Knoxville, with all the preparation that I've had, my confidence is as high as ever.
I appreciate it so much. Good luck this weekend. All right. Thanks for the answers.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional questions for Tyler? All right, Tyler. Well, thank you so much for the time this morning, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend at Knoxville.
Appreciate it, guys. Sorry about my microphone. I'll fix that.
All good. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thank you.